Happy Thursday, property champions. Now, this topic we need to discuss. You, your business or career, and your property journey, they all coincide. They all must align, and I'm going to tell you why in this next 4-minute live, because this come off the back of one of my coaching calls this morning with a client. And I think a lot of people think, I set a goal, I want to have a property portfolio, or I want to flip property. And that's great, but how are you going to get there? How are you going to fund it? How are you going to have time to do that without sacrificing something else? And in fact, one of my clients particularly recently mentioned about reducing his business so he could make time for property. And when we went through his coaching call, it was about, we don't want to sacrifice one for the other. We want to be able to know the right strategy, the right steps, the right system to have them all coincide in the right way. Because let's face it, if you want to build wealth in property, you need money. Where do you get money from? Your career, your business. So I'm going to dissect this in two parts, because if you have a job, then you've got a fixed income. So how much money are you making as to what you then can afford for your serviceability in order to then purchase the next house. Or like we talk about in our program, there's other ways to be able to fund properties. There's other ways to do joint ventures, different ways you can do things. So don't think that because you may not have the funds that you're limited. But the thing is, most people think, when I'm at that level, then I can move to that level. But sometimes in the background is when you can start evolving everything else. You can start evolving your learning, your mindset, your strategy, your planning, your knowledge. Don't run it doing something just when, now I've got funds, let's go buy a property tomorrow. And in fact, another client rang me not long ago and he was like, I want to buy a property. We're looking to buy in the next 6 months. And I'm like, great. So now's the time we need to start doing your coaching, because we need you to be already knowledgeable, skillful, confident, and ready to pounce when that deal is there. Not, deals are coming and I don't know, should I do this or this? I don't know if that works. I don't know which strategy I'm going. I'm not too sure if I should do that area, if I'm going to hold it or sell it. Too many things. When there's too many things, you get decision fatigue. What's that? That's when your brain can't handle you going through any more decisions, because you're dissecting so many things at once. It's too much to handle. And you end up going into overwhelm, overload, and then you go too hard and you walk away. Like my son this morning, putting together a science experiment we were playing around with. And when the parts weren't lining up properly, he's like, let's do it tomorrow, Mum. And I said, no, let's go through the manual again and check the steps so we can put it all together correctly, and then we can play with the experiment. Once we did the steps, we put it together right, we then did one experiment and the kids were crazy about all the bubbles. There's a step-by-step process. So here's what I want to say. When you have a property goal, whether you're already in property and you want to further build that, or you're brand new to the whole experience, you need time to immerse yourself into knowing, learning, being around the right network, being around people doing it already. So all right, here's the right deal. I know what I'm doing. I'm in. You don't want to be buying a property and then going, wait, I'm not even sure how I should be doing the kitchen. I'm not sure how to run the renovation plan. I'm not sure how to manage all of this. And yes, some people say just jump in and learn as you go. Sure, but if now's the time that you want to be doing this for next year, then now's the time to start building up your skill base. Why would you want to do it all in the last minute and then risk losing half your profit? So there's a bit I want you to think about. If you're watching this either live with me now, because I can see some people coming on, or you're watching it back later, I wanted to throw this out there because my client this morning said to me, it's so much about building your business to fund your property, but the big bit that most people miss is growing their mindset, growing themselves in amongst that. And she said, that's exactly what I keep learning with you in our sessions. And in fact, her session, particularly this morning, we actually had a business session. It wasn't even about property, because right now she's got a part of her business that she needed to really get clarity on. And when she gets clarity there, then everything else will move. It's like a puzzle. And the puzzle is, there's 3 pillars, and I'm going to keep pushing this. There's 3 pillars for a successful wealth. I'm not even going to say property journey, wealth journey, because no one's buying property for the fun of it. You're buying it to build wealth. You're buying it to get more cash flow. You're buying it to build your assets. Why? So you can retire earlier, so you can have that income, that finance, wealth, the growth that you want for your kids, your children, whatever it is. So you're doing it for a reason. There's always a bigger picture. Now, in order to get there, what do you need to do? You need to make sure that your business, if you've got your own business, that needs to be making good income. You don't want to slow your business down because you're too physically involved in it in order to move to property. You need to scale the business, get it set up to a certain way, so then you can pivot from there to there, and that's still going. While you're there, you're doing your property stuff, and they all interlock because the business needs to fund the property. The other thing is, if you're in a career, same thing. What do you need to get to in your career to have enough income coming in so you can then put that aside to start building your property journey? Don't drop one to build the other. You've got to learn how to have them all running. Now, I'm not going to say balance, because it's not going to be balanced. There's going to be 1 week where you're doing more business to then do more property the next week. But it's about, they need to all align. And the third part is, you need to align yourself. If you're still anxious about renovating, if you're still anxious about buying a house, because what does that really mean? And in fact, one of my clients, we talked about this a few weeks ago, she was actually anxious about buying something. She said, you know what, I could have bought a few years ago and I didn't. And I'm just, when I go through the whole process of what I can borrow, it just gets me anxious. And I said, okay, we need to dissect that, because until we let go of that and we move those emotions around, you're going to keep stopping yourself from buying. Now, unless you are one of those that looks at energies and kind of looks at, how am I feeling about this? Some people don't look at that, and they'll either keep pushing through, or they'll keep telling themselves, we haven't had a good deal, we don't have enough money, we don't have this, they'll keep saying what are the reasons why they haven't ever got there, and they'll be still saying it till they're 90 years old. Never got to build my portfolio because I never got a property. The market was never right. We never were able to get the right amount of money. I never found the right deal. What a load of bullshit. No matter what the market's like, no matter what your situation is, there is always a solution. But if your mindset is based around everything's a problem, and there will always problems come in. I'm not saying you're going to glide through life and glide through buying properties and it be easy. But if you're not in the mindset of, what's the solution? How do I get through that? How do I get through that? Here's an obstacle. How do I climb it? How do I get over it? If you're not in that mindset, you're going to keep getting road barriers. You're going to keep getting obstacles hit you, and you'll never get over them. So this is why I say there are 3 pillars to building success. It is first you, your mind, how you react, how you respond, how you proactively go out there and look for property and create deals and grow your knowledge and network. But doing it a certain way is what's going to get you the result, not where you think it might be, but proven results with the right system. Then having the confidence to go to that person and ask them for the deal, and go to that person and go here and talk about this and create this and build something that you look back and go, holy shit, I did it. I took the jump and I did it. Because if it was that easy, everyone would be multimillionaires. Everyone would have property after property after property. Reality is they don't, because it's not that easy to do. It takes guts. It takes courage. It takes the days where you're like, I can't do this. How do I get up and go again? Whether it's you're about to buy a property, or you're so far from that property goal, you don't know how you're going to even find the funds, or you're halfway through a reno and you get hit with some 20K extra and you're like, how do I work this? There's always a solution, but how you deal with it is the key. So mindset is so crucial. Linking that in with, what is your actual property strategy? How are you going to do it? What is it you want? How are you going to get there? Mixed in with your career or your business. how you're functioning with that. And these are the 3 parts that we do with our coaching. It's not just, oh, here's a strategy on how to go buy a house, how to buy it under market value, how to renovate it and how to add profit and how to build a portfolio or make instant cash flow. That's great. I can give you every answer you need. But if you're not built with your mindset to run at it, you're not going to do it. And if you're not in a position where your business is growing, or you see where you can fill the gaps so your business is still thriving or your career is still thriving while you're doing that, you're just going to have road barriers, because you're going to say to me, listen, I didn't get to work this week, so I just lost a few grand. I didn't get this week, so now I've got stress over that side, and that takes you off the ball of doing it over here. So it's about alignment. So with my clients, we go through all 3 of those pillars. Sometimes one session is all about one, sometimes it's a little bit about all 3. But when they can move through all 3 of those, they get results, they get success. And that's the key to having proper, successful coaching. It's not just about me telling you what to do. It's about you dissecting and being aware enough of where am I right now and what do I need to do and become in order to be that person who's buying 5 properties at once, who's got $1 million, multi-million dollar business that's running without being involved, so I can then put it into my companies. Now this is, into my properties. This is what we go through no matter what level you're at, whether you're in a career or you have a very small business and you're the one doing it all, to you already have a scalable business, through to you have 0 property or 10 properties. Wherever you're at, it's about trying to get those 3 to all align so it works for you, your goal, your lifestyle, your situation, so you can keep moving through. There's no one answer fits all, but if you've got a good coach and a good system, you can move mountains that you never thought you could move. So here's me saying, if you're on this group because property is important to you, property is one of your passions, property is something that you want to hit, if you're not doing something to grow those 3 and align those 3, you're not really going to get anywhere. So I'm here to say to you, if that's something that you need help with, we have our Renovation Profit Mastery program and our Renovation Wealth Mastery program. Right now, they include one-on-one coaching directly with me. The benefit of that is you not only learn the program that is all on our online platform, so there's modules that take you through 16 really in-depth descriptive modules of everything from how to buy, how to source, how to find, how to work out your feasibility, what options there are, how to set up your entity, everything, through to then how to do your plan, how to renovate each room and how to do it the most cost-effective way, techniques. There is so much there. It has taken me hours upon hours upon hours upon hours to dissect the key parts that I've done in 12 years and put it into such a detailed program. Before I even start filming it, it's hours of mapping. And I've pulled apart everything I've done in 12 years to make sure I pass on the absolute best information, systems, processes. So you literally just grab and play. Plug and play, plug and play, plug and play. While you do that, you chat with me every fortnight for 30 minutes. And we go through, what are you up to? Where are you going next? And what are the gaps? And I give you direct strategies that work for you. When I close the door for one-on-one, that's no longer available. Then we have our waiting list for our group session, which means we do it all as a group. It's not the one-on-one personalized coaching anymore. And then you can purchase the program all on its own with no coaching. So if this is something that is important to you, stop sitting on the fence waiting. Stop trying to do it yourself and make mistakes. At the moment, it is so cost effective to invest into you, your business, and your property journey, because that's the 3 things that we're going to keep working on during our sessions. So the next 24 months, the next 12 months, you will be blown away with how much you move. You want to know more about it, comment below or DM me directly. Although bear in mind, I don't actually jump on Facebook all the time. I'm too busy building to be playing on here, but message and I will make sure that my team get back to you so you can schedule a time to have a chat with me, and I'll walk you through exactly what the program is. We only have a couple of spots. Once those spots are done, then one-on-one's closed until I decide to reopen it. And then it's our group session, which will kick off early next year. So now's the time to think about, are you ready to invest in you, your business and your property journey? to really make sure that you hit those goals that you want. And maybe it was goals for this year that you haven't